Board President, board members, good morning. I'm going to touch on, so maybe you'll give me an extra minute at the end. I'd like to help with a little clarification of what Dr. Benthel was talking about. When I was talking at the CAT meeting about civil rights, so often we talk about just the ADA, whereas people with disabilities are a minority and we are protected by civil rights law. I've been working with Washington State, which is the district IT center for ADA issues. It's a federally funded, mandated project, and I have a lot more reading to do. I've also begun gathering some information from the FDA, and as I get more and understand it a little bit better, I will be sharing it with you. But we are protected again by civil rights law. As far as the donuts, I don't know where staff came up with the donuts, because if you actually read the federal guidelines, which I believe simplifies it, it talks, what the donuts is really talking about is areas that are surrounded by fixed route service, and the very middle, for example, might be more than 3/4 of a mile away from a bus route, which is what the code calls for lift service. But if that center, which could be further away than 3/4 of a mile, is completely surrounded, it then becomes covered. That's where they were trying to use the donut as an explanation. And I would be glad to forward you the code. It's in 49 CFR section 37, and it's pretty clear when you actually read it. To the testimony I was really going to be addressing you with today is I'm still concerned. Upset is being kind. I still don't have answers to my letter of February 7th. This is the letter that last month Mr. McFarland said that I had answers to the letter, and I still don't have answers to all of the issues in that letter. And in my second testimony last month, I gave you an example of one which I still don't have an answer. I would like answers to the issues in the letter from February 7th. I would also like to address the manner that that letter was handled. And I'm not going to go into any more detail publicly. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I have sent you all how that was mishandled, and I'd like to know what's being done to ensure that doesn't happen again. I also, and Director Processor brought it up last month, I still don't have a full answer to my complaint of 217. It's amazing that the complaint only had 2 issues, and I can only get an answer to 1. I'm sorry, 50% answer is terrible. And the part that I've not been given an answer to has to do with fares. Mr. McFarland's talking about what a wonderful job with citations and so forth, which basically is on max. And part of my complaint is the fact that doesn't seem to be enough enforcement on buses. You know, Trimet does collect fares on buses. I did not get a response.
I'm going to ask you to wrap up, Michael.
Okay. Please bear with me on this one for 30 seconds. We're looking at budget issues, and we're looking at cuts, and we're basing a lot of the cuts, or staff is basing a lot of the cuts and using the ADA as they can do so. The fixed route system, as I've been sharing with you for quite a while, is not in compliance with the ADA. The best example and the easiest example and the easiest to prove is the lack of announcements. While the announcements are not being made, I say to you that people that are visually impaired, blind, or for whatever reason that need announcements to be made are granted 100% lift service with no conditions, and that they only pay $1 for a lift ride if they meet that criteria. Because if, in fact, Trimet was doing their job on fixed route, they could get an honored citizen's fare of $1 on the fixed route system. I hope that you will take this into consideration. Since I don't have more time to elaborate, I will try to send you something further in writing. But when you're looking at the budget, I hope that you take into consideration this as an important issue and budget for less expensive rides for people with disabilities that can't ride fixed route because of Trimet not following the ADA. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.